All right. So anyway, so they would like to have Ayuk. Do you think that the 49ers are serious about it? But the Patriots would not be willing to give up a first round pick next year. Do you think they would be?
No, not at all. I mean, we saw they were reluctant to part with draft capital just a few months ago in this draft. And I don't think any of us expects them to be in a wildly different place, 9 months from now, because what did they do this offseason? They ran it back with the same roster and they added two new QBs, obviously new coaching staff, all of that. But the point is, this is a rebuild. And so if the 49ers price is a first round pick, you're not parting with what will likely be a top 10 pick. And you can go, okay, we could aggregate the value of a top 10 pick with a second, maybe a conditional fourth, a couple of other things, and move it around. But is that worth the cost of one player who then you're going to have to give a market deal? And all of a sudden, all this cap space this year and next year shrinks in a way that's significant. And so your ability not only to rebuild the roster from a draft standpoint, because you lost all these picks, but also the cash and the cap that you spent on him has shrunk, and your advantage to rebuild and all this space and all these resources are diminished. That's the question. I don't think they'll do it.
Okay, well, Andrew, Bert's other point while he was in here is that a winning strategy is to get a top wide receiver and pay him while your quarterback is on its rookie contract. So this is 1 year down. You don't think Drake May is going to play much, if at all, this season, but next season, hopefully. Ultimately, the strategy would be to go get a wide receiver to help him out, a number one. What do you think they will do if they do not get AIYUK?
Yes, this is the big question. And to Bert's point, teams have been doing that basically since the new or two CBAs ago was ratified in 2011. And you have these cost-controlled rookie contracts. You draft the quarterback in the first round. No longer is Sam Bradford and Cam Newton making $100 million in their first day in the NFL and they put pen to paper. These are reasonable, good deals for teams that they take advantage of by paying other players in the 5-year window. So the question is, where do you find not just Brandon AIYUK, but any number one wide receiver anymore? Because they're not in free agency. Just like the good quarterbacks, teams are keeping the receivers and paying them, from A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, and I believe Brandon AIYUK, because the Niners don't have any other player like him. Like Deebo Samuel is not comparable, and we can get to that later. So I think they're either going to bank on drafting one in the top 10 or just believing that they will be able to trade for another receiver sometime down the road. And at that point, you're looking at, guys coming up in contracts years next year.
Okay. Yeah, and it just seems like that you could draft a receiver and then he'd be in the second year of the deal, and then you'd have May on the May would be on the second year of the deal, and then by the time third year when May's supposed to show out, you got a second year receiver, and you saved yourself the contractual problems with that. Judon, what's the situation with him right now?
So they're in a bit of a holding pattern, as I understand it. And, I'm coming off of vacation here, so I haven't been too into the weeds on this. But I think it's just a matter of leverage and value. And they look at this as going, hey, you're, an edge rusher on the wrong side of his 30s, coming off a major injury last year of your deal. You're not going to be here for the peak of this rebuild, but you are still holding the belt as our best player. So we want to pay you. We want to keep you. And he goes, well, no. I want to be paid, and I want to be like one of the best players in the entire league, because that's what I am. 4-time Pro Bowler, 15 and a half sacks just 2 seasons ago. I'm still the same guy. You need me for this locker room and this rebuild. And so they're just trying to bridge that. I would almost guarantee that guaranteed money is at the heart of this. Certainly the length of the contract, where Judon's going to want to stay longer than they might be willing to commit. And I think they will find a middle ground, because I know it's a little unsettling that him and Godchow and some other players are upset with the team, but this happens every single year, often with the best players on a team, and I think they will get a deal done.
What do you think his market is?
It's a great question. Someone, actually an uncle of mine, texted, was like, would you do a third for Judon? Is that crazy? And I said, I would not. Certainly in the first couple of calls, if we're hypothetically trying to trade Matt Judon, would push for something higher than that. But, his market would be contenders, right? Again, like he's a win now player. And that's what part of the discussion here is. He's not fitting in a kind of type of a rebuild, but you still want good players. Good players are good. So I think it would probably be limited to the top 8-10 teams at the top, and then who's willing to part with a third-round pick. Not many teams willing to do that, period, for a younger player at another premium position, in L'Jarius Sneed, who was dealt from Kansas City to the Titans. So I think it would be narrow and only the good teams, and then you're still just haggling over price.
All right, Andrew Callahan, welcome back from vacation as training camp is about to get underway.
Enjoy your last few days off.
Yeah. When does training camp start again?
The 24th.
they'll be on the field. The 24th players are there in the 23rd. Can I get one more minute? And I want to drive Dan nuts here. Have you guys heard about we might get a rat czar for the city of Boston?
What does that mean?
Yeah, so there's this guy, Bobby Corrigan, the city hired as a consultant, who also sounds like he might have been Whitey Bulger's weekend driver. But anyway, he has a PhD in urban rodentology, and he's laid out this massive plan to wipe out all of the rats in the city. And part of it is installing a rat czar.
Yeah.
Well, just put magnesium everywhere, and they'll
all fall asleep and then pick them up and throw them away. Yeah.
Andrew, you're absolutely right about this. And it was a story that I first saw in a couple of publications, but now the City of Boston website is talking about BRAP, which is the Boston Rodent Action Plan.
Is he taking applications? You know,
I don't know. I just don't like, how does this
or?
person introduce themselves at parties? What is urban rodentology? Which this guy's like been around for 30 years. And I'm just so fascinated, not by the rats, but just everyone around it trying to have the right plan and the right titles. Like, would you call yourself a rat czar? Would you have a more official title? But I don't know. I'm going to read actually more about this as soon as we hang up.
Well, I can tell you right now, not to play spoiler, but the plans are to plant a bunch of magnesium supplements around dumpsters and other things, and then the rats, they just get knocked out. It knocks them out completely, and then they can just scoop them up with coal shovels and throw them in the harbor.
I did that exact same statement, if not 2 minutes ago, 1 minute ago. But you were busy reading about the rat czar.
You said they were going to give them magnesium?
Yeah, and I said they would pick them up with shovels.
That's awesome. Can we play it back like soon? Like I don't want to wait till the end of the show. I mean, I want to hit and I want to time the amount of time.
Yeah, John didn't get it either. John
is it less than 20 seconds?
Andrew, did you hear that he just repeated the same joke that I made a minute later? Okay, thank you. At least you were paying attention.
It's a fantastic. I mean, when hosts aren't listening is one of my favorite things, and when it happens to me, it brings me a perverse joy.
Yeah, because I think, but don't feel alone, because I think Lockhart might be the only person besides me and Callahan out of all of us, the seven of us, that knew that happened. Oh boy, we're cooking with gas. Andrew Callahan, enjoy working in print media where you know your work is going to stand. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Hold on,
Andrew.
I want to ask him about Judon.
About Boston Herald. Thank you so much.
Good luck, guys. See ya.
All right, thank you. There you go. Good luck, guys.
Great. Oh, I'm so happy that happened.
It was almost entirely the same joke, because it was the magnesium and then it was the scooping with shovels.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, great minds.
I got no reason to lie to you.
Just you know.
Maybe you took some magnesium, and that's why you were fading out so bad.
I told you, I took one Advil PM, and
what's good, though, is
La La Land, like Wallach's unfavorite movie.
What's good is John didn't hear it either, so we're all cooking. All right, here we go. And I'm not positive Dan heard it. All right, we're all good to go. All right, we'll be right back.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.